It's the Chronicles of a Gooner. It's the transfer update show, and we are back. And as you can see, I'm not very happy. Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by manscaped.com. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou, and on today's edition, as always, we're going to be going through the latest transfer news in regards to Arsenal Football Club. Now, the problem is there isn't any transfer news with regards to Arsenal Football Club. Not any positive news anyway, and that is what is really frustrating. Now, throughout the window, we've heard that Arsenal's priority targets were Houssem, were Thomas Partey. We were going to get one of them. Some people even thought that we were going to get both of them. Well, now, especially looking at both of them, it seems very unlikely, because I'll tell you why. Time is simply running out. The transfer deadline closes on Monday, and Arsenal are yet to agree a deal for either of those two players. So I'm not normally one to panic, but I am getting a little bit frustrated now, because throughout the window, I was very much one of those people that said, be patient. These deals will get done, or at least one of these deals will get done. Arsenal are working tirelessly behind the scenes, but I also understood that there was a need to sell. There was a need to move players on. And given the way COVID-19 disrupted not just the game of football, but everything, there was delays in finishing last season, which meant pre-season was shorter, which meant the transfer window timings were off this year. I was willing to be understanding of the circumstances, but I did figure that by this point in the window, we'd be sort of a lot better off. Now, if you consider what business Arsenal have done so far in this transfer window, we wanted Willian, we got him. We wanted Gabriel, we got him. We wanted Ceballos, we got him. We managed to move on Emi Martinez for a decent fee. But now was the time, really, I felt that Arsenal needed to just make that little extra step, take that step in the transfer market, go and get a top-class midfielder to really help Mikel Arteta. It's become increasingly evident throughout Mikel Arteta's reign that we need to strengthen in that particular area in the pitch. We know that Lucas Torreira is close to leaving the club. We know that Matteo Guendouzi, somebody that a lot of us thought could be a future Arsenal regular, has been frozen out. Mesut Ozil's not in the picture anymore. And when you take all of those things into consideration, it becomes vital, doesn't it, that Arsenal actually go out there and do some transfer business, that Arsenal actually go out there and strengthen in that particular area of the pitch. Now, I'm not having a meltdown because, as I said, the transfer window closes on Monday. There is still time to get these deals done. It is my understanding that if we were able to strike deals with either Atletico Madrid or with Lyon for Houssem, personal terms wouldn't be an issue. I'm pretty confident of that. But the problem is, are we going to strike these deals before the transfer deadline hits? Now, with regards to Houssem, Jean-Michel Aulas has been very clear that unless a deal is struck by Friday, when Rudy Garcia picks his Lyon squad to face Marseille at the weekend, a deal will not happen. Houssem will not be leaving the club. Now, on the one hand, I say take what Jean-Michel Aulas says with a pinch of salt, because he is known for talking nonsense when it comes to transfers. He is known for using the media as a mouthpiece, using the media as a tool in order to get what he wants out of certain negotiations. But we've also seen him take this stance in the past and then back down. We saw him take this stance with Alexander Lacazette. Lo and behold, he became an Arsenal player. We saw him take this stance with Tanguy and Ndombele. And lo and behold, he's a Tottenham player. So Jean-Michel Aulas has got form for basically talking nonsense. And therefore, we shouldn't take everything he says as gospel, but time is running out. We're talking about having the weekend to get these deals done over the line, medicals completed, etc. I've been refreshing my Twitter feed all day. I've been speaking to people all day, just trying to understand, where we are, if there's been any progress. Interestingly, David Ornstein, who's normally pretty good when it comes to all things Arsenal. He said that despite sort of the noise that Olas is making, regarding the hope, regarding the deal, I should say, that would see Houssem Aouar come to Arsenal, that actually, despite everything Olas says, Edu and Juninho are negotiating, and that they are trying to thrash out a deal between the two of them, and that the negotiations are amicable. The negotiations are sort of in a good spirit, etc., etc. There isn't that animosity that the president of Lyon seems to be trying to create with regards to this transfer negotiation. But still, at this moment, as far as we are aware, there has been no deal agreed for Houssem Aouar. So we've got to sit tight on that one. I've said all along that we needed to hear something by Friday. And it's still early. It's only 4:30 at the time of this going out live. And I hope, fingers crossed, that we do hear something a little bit later on. If we do, I'll be absolutely delighted, absolutely thrilled. But at this moment in time, there is nothing to report on the Houssem Aouar front. So we're going to have to sit tight on that one. With regards to Thomas Partey, well, there's been absolutely no movement with that. And as the days go by, this one looks increasingly more unlikely. It's looked unlikely all week, to be honest. Atletico have been very firm on the fact that they are not willing to let this guy go for anything less than the release clause. Why, you ask? Because they simply don't want to lose him. It's not a complicated matter. Atletico Madrid want Thomas Partey to stay with the club. Atletico Madrid see him as a very, very important player. Atletico Madrid are not going to be bullied into moving him on just because Arsenal fancy him. It doesn't work like that. Unless Arsenal are going to put their money where their mouth is, stump up the cash that Atletico Madrid are asking for, the cash that would actually allow Arsenal to negotiate with a player without Atletico Madrid even having a say because of this release clause, then we've got no leg to stand on. We know what we have to do to get this deal done, and it just seems at the moment that Arsenal, A, maybe don't have the funds to do that, and B, if they do have the funds to do that, and the fact that they're still in negotiations for a while suggests that they probably do have around about 50 million quid to spend one way or another, tells you that maybe the club don't value Thomas Partey at that amount of money. Maybe they feel like Aouar is the better and the safer option and the one that would be a more wise, longer-term investment. I don't know. But if that is the case, they need to get this Aouar deal moving. They really, really do. Now, of course, as fans, as journalists, we're not always privy to every single thing that goes on at the time, or in real time, I should say. Could be a case that we're going to hear later on that there has been some progress, and I really hope that is the case. But I think what really, really frustrates me at the moment when I look at this kind of transfer window is, and I stick by what I said from the very off, the biggest, most significant business that Arsenal were going to do in this window was to tie down Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. That was number one for me. Getting a centre-half was number two. We did that. We also added strength in depth in the likes of Willian. We also, brought Dani Ceballos back, who I thought ended last season really, really positively. But now we're at a crossroads. We're at a place where Arsenal can really prove their belief in Mikel Arteta. And let's be honest, when you look at some of the results that this guy has got since he's come in, yes, the football hasn't always been brilliant. Yes, the methods have been questionable at times, but at the end of the day, he can only work with what he's got. And the fact that this guy is consistently getting results against teams that are far superior to his own tells you all you need to know about this guy's ability, about the fact that he is the right man, that he's taking us on the right path, that he is capable of moving this football club forward. Add to that the fact that they've promoted him changed his title from head coach to first team manager. That just tells me that Mikel Arteta has got the buy-in of the club. Well, if that's the case, give him the money. Get these deals, or at least one of these deals. I was always realistic about it. I never sat here and said that we were going to get both because I didn't believe that. If we managed to get both between now and the window, that would be incredible. But if we got one, I'd be delighted. And it feels like one is more likely. And it feels like even that one, we're running out of time to do it. And I don't want to panic because I could finish this stream and an hour later get a report that a deal has been agreed for one of them. But, we got to get moving here. We really do have to get moving. And you just feel like, given the progress that Mikel Arteta has shown, the fact that we've managed to add in some areas. I know the club will turn around and say, look, we tried our best. And Mikel Arteta has said that today in his press conference ahead of the Sheffield United game. He's been very, very clear about the fact that Arsenal have done everything they can, or will do everything they can, to add further to this squad. But he said that if we don't do it, it's because we can't. And I think as fans, if we're going to hear that, if we're going to hear that Arsenal can't, I think there'll be uproar. There'll be, and the spotlight goes back on the ownership again. Mikel Arteta very deliberately said that the ownership are backing him, they're supporting him to do what he needs to do. But it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter whether they're, in theory, backing you. Are they going to actually do it? Are they actually going to help Mikel Arteta get one of these deals over the line, or a significant deal that is going to help Arsenal compete for a position in the top four this season? Because as good as we've been in the cup competitions, I personally still feel that we're a little bit short of finishing in the top four. It's going to take an absolute miracle for Mikel Arteta, and the fact is he's not Jesus Christ at the end of the day. So, he's got to get a top quality midfielder in my opinion, to greatly increase Arsenal's chances of finishing in that top four. And we're simply running out of time to do it. Again, I keep talking about how impressed I've been with Mikel Arteta. It would just be so disappointing, though, if, having shown all that progress, that still isn't enough to persuade the Cronkies to do something. Now, we're talking about players that we want to move out. We keep talking about the likes of Guendouzi, Torreira, Socrates, blah, blah, blah. And all we're asking the Cronkies to do is bridge a bit of a gap that we have in our finances at the moment. Call it a bridging loan, if you like, that would see Arsenal just get that little bit of extra backing that is needed to get Lyon's agreement on a deal for Houssem, or that would allow them to stretch and get Thomas Partey. Having been linked with two players of such a high caliber, it would be so disappointing if we were to end up with some substandard equivalents. And Arsenal have done that in the past, and there would be absolute uproar if that happened. And if that did happen, you got to feel for the player coming in, because they'll never live up, most likely, to the billing of a Aouar or a Partey, two players with whom we've been heavily linked throughout this transfer window. Let's quickly check in on YouTube, see how many of you guys are currently joining us at the moment. I can see there are a couple of hundred of you on YouTube at the moment. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It is so important. I can see that there's just 28 likes on the video and there's 200 of you watching. So please do hit that like button. It is so important. And very much appreciated. It does really help the channel. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Help us get there as soon as possible. We hit 9,500 during the night, which is amazing. But we need a little bit more support on that. Let's go over to some of your live comments. Thank you to Dramatic12 for your very kind donation and super chat. He says, do you think we're trying to get Aouar first, then Partey, so that Lyon don't think we have money to pay the full amount for him? I thought that earlier on in the window. I really did. I thought that Arsenal didn't want to show their cards too early, that they wanted to play the cards close to their chest. They wanted to give off this impression that the money wasn't there, and actually they were going to go and do both deals. But the fact is, we're running out of time. It's as simple as that, to be honest. It's as simple as that. And unless, something dramatically changes, then, in terms of our finances, I don't see how, we can do both those deals, and how this could be a ploy or an effective one, at least. I thought that was the case earlier on in the window. I've got to be honest. I thought Arsenal were biding their time. I thought they were trying to be smart. But actually, it feels like that isn't the case anymore. And it feels like if that is the plan, it's going horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. Right, let's go over to some more of your live comments. Mini Brent says, Cronky out. Marty111 says, not looking forward to this. Billy Boy says, smile, Harry. I will smile when we get those deals, or at least one of those deals, if we get one of those deals over the line. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But as I say this, we might even get something during the show. we might get something a little bit later on tonight. But I am nervous. I've got to be honest. Patrick says, Harry, love the work that you do. Why don't Arsenal just pay the money? Martinez cash, Kolasinac upcoming fee. What is going on? The Martinez cash, £17 million. Spent around about 2 million of that in capturing Runarsson. It's probably about £15 million left. Got to take into account the fact that we've given Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a massive, contract as well. Danny Ceballos, we're now paying Danny Ceballos his wages. Willian is on a contract, would have no doubt received a signing on fee as well. There's probably not as much of that Martinez money left as people think there is. With regards to Sead Kolasinac, well, no deal has been agreed yet. And the fact that Sead Kolasinac played last night at Anfield kind of, reiterates that point and should make that very, very clear. No deal yet, taking Sead Kolasinac out of Arsenal Football Club. As it stands, he's an Arsenal player. And Leverkusen, I don't know if they're going to follow through with that interest, because I don't know if they've been scared off by Arsenal's asking price. That's a real possibility. Big hello to Anthony D. Says, hello, Harry. Keep up the content. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Reginald Perry says, I saw a tweet in the French media that he extended that deadline to Saturday, talking about Jean-Michel Aulas, and that deadline that he's supposedly set for a deal concerning Houssem Aouar to be reached. I don't know about that, if I'm honest with you, mate. I can't sit and lie to you. I don't know that is the case. And as much as Aulas has put that deadline in place in the eyes of the media, as I've said before and I've said all along, if the money is right, even if it's on Monday morning, the deal will be done. But it's about meeting that valuation. It's about meeting that asking price. And at this moment in time, as far as we're aware, Arsenal haven't done that yet. Let's see what else we got here. Carl says it's we are Arsenal FC, not good enough having an American billionaire owner and not backing his English club and putting his money into his American teams. Look, I have said all along that I won't jump on people's backs until the window closes. If the window closes and the deals aren't done, then I'll be just as livid, just as angry as everybody else. But as much as I feel like I'm having a bit of a meltdown, I feel like I'm getting a little bit concerned and worried, etc. The reality is that actually there's still a few days to go, and we've got to be a little bit more patient. But as I said, it is worrying that we leave it so late. Why do we always leave it so late? Let's see what else we've got. Anthony D says PSG are now in talks with Arsenal, not from Arsenal. We lost him to PSG. I don't know about that at the moment. There's a lot of talk about PSG having an interest in Houssem Aouar as well. Don't know. Don't know about that. Let's have a quick look on Twitter, because I might have missed something whilst I'm live. So I want to have a look at this. Some people are reporting that Arsenal have reached an agreement. Some people are saying no. You don't know what to believe. There has been an update from Fabrizio Romano on the Thomas Partey Torreira thing, which we pretty much knew. But Fabrizio Romano says Thomas Partey has never been part of the Torreira deal. Arsenal board and Arteta like the player so much, but Atletico Madrid always turn down any possible bid or negotiation. It's the release clause or nothing. They're still convinced Thomas will stay. So reiterating my point earlier on about the fact that actually there is nothing going on with Thomas Partey at the moment. There is no movement on that. There has been no budge on that at this moment in time. So let's go back. Let's go back to the live comments and see what you guys are saying in response. Let's see what else we've got here. Majid says, well, Atletico are kind of bullying Arsenal. How can we loan Torreira with only an option to buy? It should be with an obligation to buy or just sell. Agreed. I said that a couple of days ago. I didn't want to see us pushed around by the big boys. I didn't want to see us bullied. But lo and behold, it seems like that is the case. It feels like we are getting backed into a corner by Atletico Madrid with Lucas Torreira. It's also been reported that Lucas Torreira is very, very keen on the move, which obviously puts us in a worse position, doesn't it? Because we've not only we've got Atletico in our ears about the loan, we've got Lucas Torreira coming from the other side as well. And, at the end of the day, as much as I don't have anything against Lucas Torreira and I feel really sorry for him, I feel like it just didn't work out for him at Arsenal. Whilst you want to do what the player wants and you want to help the player out and you want to help him rediscover his best form, you also need to put the interest of the club at first. And we haven't always done that. And you're right, if Atletico do get him with an option to buy, that doesn't help our situation in any other way. Kevin Campbell was on here the other day and he said that if Arsenal could get some sort of obligation to buy agreement in place with Atletico Madrid, then the club could use that as leverage in order to raise funds from somewhere else to get this deal done, or to get one of these deals done. I keep saying this deal. We're talking about the two deals that we want to see done. But it's looking increasingly unlikely. And if it is an option to buy, how does that help us in any way? All it does is weaken us. Zissi says, we probably need both Aouar and Partey. If we sign only Aouar, it would be wise to keep Torreira and Guendouzi. I think the writing is on the wall for both of those players, if I'm honest. I don't think either of them have a future at Arsenal. And whether that's right or wrong, I guess, remains to be seen. But in Mikel Arteta's eyes, at least, they certainly don't have a future at the club. And that's why we are so desperate to move both of them on. Russ Morgan says, what's going on with Saliba, mate? Yeah, this is another one. It was reported, I think, late last night, this morning. And the questions started coming up, didn't they, when William Saliba was not included in the squad that faced Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. Well, the reality of the Saliba situation is this, and we spoke about it a little bit on the review show this morning. I said I'd go into it in a bit more detail, and Mikel Arteta has spoken since then and reiterated what we thought, which is that William Saliba's progress has not quite been what Arsenal had hoped. Of course, the Ligue 1 season ended prematurely last year because of the COVID-19 virus, as did a lot of European leagues. But add to that the reports that William Saliba lost his mum, and apparently on a personal level, he's just not quite at the point that Arsenal hoped he would be at. And, it's easy to forget, we look at these footballers and we say, yeah, he's earning this much money and this and that, and he's famous and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, for an 18-year-old, almost just kind of beginning on his career journey, to lose his mum would be hard. It's always hard to lose someone that you love, particularly a parent. But to have that at 18 years old, you can understand why it may have derailed him a little bit. And I've got a bit of sympathy for William Saliba. I really have, and I hope that he does go on to fulfill the undoubted potential that he has. But if he's not ready, he's not ready. And it looks as though Arsenal are exploring the option of sending him back to France on loan, which would help him personally, as we're hearing. So Mikel Arteta didn't rule that out in the press conference, which tells you all you need to know. And when we look at, again, as I've said, how many centre-backs that this club currently has, we've got Holding, we've got Chambers, we've got Socrates, we've got Mustafi, we've got Louise, we've got Marie, we've got Gabriel. There are so many centre-halves at Arsenal Football Club at the moment. The fact that we went and bought another one in Gabriel, for me, tells you that Arsenal were worried about William Saliba, and that they didn't feel, even at that time, that he was ready yet. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that. I do think that there is a very strong possibility that William Saliba will be leaving the club on loan between now and the transfer deadline. So yeah, watch this space on that one. Let's see what else we've got. Lots of people talking about PSG and Aouar. Let's have a look. Let's see if that is the case. Where are those reports coming from? Let me know. Let's see what we've got here. Just scrolling through Twitter. Let me know where you're seeing those reports about PSG agree a fee for Aouar. If that is the case, I'll be absolutely furious. We kind of heard it a little bit earlier on that PSG, or a little bit earlier on in the window, that PSG were interested. I want to know where those reports are coming from, because that will judge how reliable I believe they are. And I'll come on to that in a little bit. A lot of you are mentioning it in the comments. Anthony D says PSG have agreed a fee with Aouar. A couple of other people bringing it up as well. Maximus says it as well. Guys, let me know where that report is. Share the report. Share the link in the chat. Let's have a look at it. Let's go through it together. Let's discuss it. Let me know where that is coming from. But nothing is official at the moment. We've spoken about Saliba, so forgive me if I go through, if I miss some of your comments. Another super chat, or that's the one I done earlier. Sorry, cheers. Thanks again for that. Just scrolling back through the comments. Just having a look what you guys have had having to say. So many comments, incredible. Thank you. Another super chat from Dramatic 12. Thank you, mate. Really, really appreciate your kind donation. He says, for me, Aubameyang wouldn't have signed the contract if we didn't get any players in other than Willian. Much love from Houston, my friend. Thank you to you, first of all, for tuning in, for your kind donations. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it was a point that a lot of us said or spoke about at the time of the Aubameyang announcement, that he must have been given some guarantees that at least Arsenal were trying to get certain deals done, trying to strengthen in other areas. But as of yet, nothing's happened. And that's the real concern, isn't it? We're all sitting here desperately waiting for some news, for some movement on these potential deals that we kind of, I don't know, I think we've become almost obsessed with getting one of these players in the door, haven't we? And that leads me on nicely to Robin's question, where he says, who would you take instead of Aouar if we can't get him? Realistically, I don't know, because I've been so fixated on Aouar, fixated on Partey, that they were the two options, and it was one or the other. Arsenal were going to go and get it done. Bring in one of these big boys, one of these players with a huge reputation, so that we can move forward as a football club. But at this moment in time, we haven't got either of them. So still waiting. Let's see. J Star Life says the club is a joke. We're going to get a lot of that if we don't see any movement. We're going to get a lot of that. There'll be that disconnect again with the club and the fans. Don't the club understand that they are causing this? You know, back your manager. Go out and get one of these players in. Help us move forward. And at the end of the day, I know to a degree Arsenal fans and football fans in general are never happy. But, you know, if they did go and splash the cash on one of these players, you couldn't accuse them of not backing Mikel Arteta this summer, having already bought in Gabriel, having done a deal for Ceballos again, having bought Willian in. You know, if they were to get that key midfield player, you couldn't sit here and say that they haven't backed him. But the reputation or the relationship between the fans and the club, it appears to be in danger of breaking down again. Not that it was ever fully repaired, but you know what I mean. Let's see what else we've got here. Liam says, genuinely hate the Chronicles. Ben Ham says, if we don't get Aouar or Partey, this would be the worst transfer window I've ever seen. We never needed signings as bad as we do right now. Arsenal's worst Premier League finish last year in God knows how many years. So you can understand why people feel that way and feel that we're a long way from competing. Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Darren Thomas says that most people on Twitter saying Arsenal are still favourites to sign Aouar. Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not ruling it out. I'm still hopeful. I am still really, really hopeful that we can get a deal done between now and the transfer window. But it just feels like we're cutting it really, really fine. You know, as I said, I'd love to hear something this evening, maybe tomorrow, about these potential deals. That would be amazing. It would be fantastic. But at this moment in time, it's hard not to be a little bit concerned. Just a little bit concerned. I'm not at complete panic stations just yet. But I am nervous, and I'm nervous because I feel like this would be such a massive missed opportunity if Arsenal were to miss out on bringing in a top class midfielder for the sake of £5-10 million difference in what we value them at and what their clubs value them at. Arteta says that we're doing the best we can. I'm just not buying that a club, a business of Arsenal's size can't somehow raise this extra money to get it done. And kind of to a degree worry about it a bit later. If you trust Mikel Arteta that much, if you trust Edu and him to do a good job, if you trust them to deliver Champions League football back, then you will get a return on your extra investment. So do it. Make it happen. But as we keep saying, time is running out. Afsar Gunners believes there's no chance of Thomas Partey coming in. He says, Arsenal fans, let's be clear, Arsenal will not sign Partey. Facts. I do feel like the Partey one has been unlikely all week now. And with each day that passes, the chances of him coming to the Emirates Stadium just diminish that little bit further. So yeah, I do think we're gonna miss out on Partey, but still got a bit of hope around Houssem Aouar. Right, brings us towards the end of today's live transfer update stream. I hoped to be bringing you better news. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Going to check in on the likes whilst I remember. Let's see. There's over 400 of you watching us at the moment across the multiple platforms. And we've only got 81 likes, guys. Come on. In 3, 2, 1. Hit the like button, please. It's so important. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. Get your comments in the live chat and let us know. Let's go through a couple more bits actually before we lock it off. Just quickly remind you guys that this podcast is sponsored by Manscaped.com. So if you want your nether regions to look as neat and as tidy as the Emirates Stadium pitch, head over to Manscaped.com. Enter our discount code, which is Chronicles AFC, all in capitals. You'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. Here it is, the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. Listen to that buzz. Fantastic stuff. It's really good. Really good. You don't have to just use it on your balls. You can use it on anything you want. Also comes with a load of other cool products, which you can see in the box here. So yeah, check out manscaped.com. This is the Lawnmower 3.0. Nice and compact. Does the job. Fantastic. Great stuff. Let's go back into the live chat. Big shout out to Andreas in Cyprus. He says the Partey deal looks very difficult. It does. It's literally pay the money or we're not getting him. It's that simple. Atletico don't want to sell. Atletico don't have to sell unless that release clause is met, and then they have no choice whatsoever but to allow Arsenal to negotiate with the player. So that's where we're at the moment. In terms of the transfer updates, I wish I could have been doing this stream and bringing you more positive news, but at this moment in time, at the time of this being stream live, there is still nothing. Now, if I hear something, or if we all hear something, I will try my best to jump on and do another stream at some point to react to that over the course of the weekend. For those of you that are based in the United States or in North America, you can catch me on iHeartRadio for VSIN, bringing you live commentary of Leeds United versus Manchester City in the Premier League, Saturday, UK time, 5:30 p.m. I'm not sure what time that is Eastern, but check it out, VSIN on iHeartRadio. So really looking forward to that. Really proud to be commentating on games and having my voice sort of heard across North America. It's amazing. I've gone from commentating on my Pro Evo games when I was a kid to that, so really delighted with that, and I'd appreciate your support. If you are going to tune into the game, come and join us on iHeartRadio, VSIN, the sports betting network based in Las Vegas. So yeah, looking forward to doing that this weekend, and hopefully looking forward to some transfer news. Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. I know you're all going to be glued to Twitter in the next sort of 24 hours or so. I am as well. Really hard to switch off from it, but Not long to go. Couple of days left in this transfer window. Fingers crossed it will be a positive ending to the window rather than a disappointing one. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll speak to you again if something happens, if something kicks off. Great stuff. Cheers.